Your next vehicle from Community Motors of Mason City.
Great service from 3 locations. Community on Monroe, Community Motors Westside, and Mason City Ford. 10 new franchises and hundreds of vehicles to give you more choices. Plus, Community offers an exclusive 3-3 warranty on pre-owned vehicles and 10-year, 250,000-mile warranty on new. Need more reasons why? Stop or visit CommunityAutoGroup.com.
Because nobody beats a community deal.
It's Tuesday morning, October 2nd. At this time, I'm going to open up the Cerro County Board of Supervisors regular meeting. Item number 1 and item number 2 on your agenda is the agenda, and the special session on the 24th of September and the regular session on the 25th.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move the agenda for today and the minutes of the meeting of the 24th special session and the 25th regular session.
Okay, well, I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion second to approve the agenda for this morning and the minutes from the 24th and the 25th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to item number 3, new business. County engineer. Mary, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, how are you, Bob?
Good.
B20 should be wrapping up, hopefully getting it open this week. And should get an update from the box culvert manufacturer on when they plan on delivering those. So hopefully next week and then the following week is what we're looking at. But he was going to give me an updated schedule this week. So not a whole lot new going on. And then, so the next item I have on the agenda is for your consideration is a road closure resolution for the 2 box culvert replacements. And then the railroad contacted me to close Lark Avenue. The 2 box culvert replacements, one is on Mallard Avenue between 140th and 150th. And then the other is on 230th Street between Jonquil and Kildare Avenue. And then the last one, like I said, DM&E called. They want to replace their railroad crossing on Lark. It's not the Iowa Electric, or the it's not. Yeah, it's not Dave Johnson's, but it's the one north of that. And they are going to replace the surface, and they want to close it on Monday. They're speculating 3 to 4 days. I did talk to Sheriff Piles, and he didn't have any problems with it. I'll probably just call Bare Metals and let them know, because they do get a lot of traffic in there. But we'll put, today we'll probably put notice, if you guys approve this, we'll put notice up alongside the road, so motorists know that it'll be closed next week.
They'll still be able to go into Barris from that east driveway though, won't they?
Yeah, and they can still use the other driveway. They just won't be able to come from Highway 122 south.
Right.
They'll have to go around.
Okay. That takes a resolution, and we have one vote up here.
Alrighty, I'll move for the road closure resolution for the bridge replacement and railroad crossing using number resolution 95.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion second to do resolution 2012 number 95 for the closures of the 3 roads that we just talked about: Mallard, 230th, and Lark. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thank you.
That's all I have. Is there any questions?
I just said before, I see you got the bridge out on Mallard.
Yeah.
That must come out pretty easy.
It did. And we had talked about inquiries, people wanting to purchase that bridge deck. I can put a bid out there, a request for bids, and put a minimum dollar amount in there as to what it is valued at for us and materials. Yep. And we can seek bids and see what we get.
And then if somebody wants very bad, they can pay for it.
Yep.
How's B20 coming?
We're working on trying to reconcile our issues on on some of the deficiencies. And I had sent George that letter, so we're trying to figure out what the best method is. Like I said, if we go with a warranty method, we want to make sure we can put a value to that.
Okay.
Anything else from Mary? Thank you, Mary.
Thanks.
Let's move on to item B, county auditor's business claims.
We have the claims here for
Okay.
consideration.
This time I so motion to accept the claims as presented and authorize the chair's signature.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second to authorize the chair to sign the claims as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Payroll.
We have the payroll warrant for the week ending 9/22/2012 for your consideration.
Okay.
Motion to accept the warrant.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and second to accept the September 22nd warrant report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And then we need a motion for Frank Hodick of the Sheriff's Department going from 2443 to 2330, excuse me, going to 2365 from 2443, and an increase per union contract.
Okay. So move in favor of the payroll change for Deputy Hodak.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second for the payroll change for Deputy Frank Hodak. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Then we also have a new clerk starting in the Treasurer's Department, Marina Kunert, starting at $9 per hour.
Okay. I move resolution 2012 number 96.
Okay, I'll second said resolution 96 for the new hiree.
Okay, we got a motion to do resolution 2012 number 96 for the new hiree in the clerk's department for $9. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
We have no drainage issues today.
Okay. Item number 4, motion to approve auditor's quarterly report of fees.
Here they are for your consideration.
So move to accept the auditor's report of fees
Second.
and authorize the chair's signature.
Okay, we got a motion and second to authorize the chair to sign the auditor's report of fees. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5, authorize the chair to sign the FY 2012 USDA annual report for the Swelled sanitary sewer.
Same thing we had last week from Missouri.
Yep, as all you people know, Missouri and Swelled are owned by the county, their sewer systems, and they pay it off over, I think, a 40-year period. 40-year period, and this is the report we gotta send in every year. So I'll make a motion that we approve the annual report for the Swelled sanitary sewer.
I'd second that.
Okay. We have a motion and second to approve and sign the report for the Swelled sanitary sewer. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6, set first consideration for proposed ordinance 54. Ordinance readopting the existing county code. Waive the second and third consideration and waive the requirements for publish a summary prior to first consideration.
You should have a copy of that proposed ordinance in front of you. The Code of Iowa requires every 5 years that you recodify the ordinances. Essentially, it's this ordinance that lists all of the current and active ordinances, and the second part of it does list any ordinance that has been adopted in the past but repealed. So it's kind of a summary, just every 5 years it's a place to look and see what have you got on the books. So we've done just that, taken anything that's been repealed and listed it in the second part of the ordinance. The first part lists everything that's active, every ordinance you've got that's active. We would propose, the law allows that you hold one reading, and we would propose October 16th for that reading. We can meet the publication requirements if you set that for October 16th. If you choose to waive the second and third readings, you may do that by motion. And also, it's allowable that you would waive the, waive the summary, the publication of the summary. Since this ordinance is so straightforward and it's not introducing anything new or old, that's kind of why we set it up that way, that you would just do it in the shortest way possible.
Basically, the ordinance is a periodic cleanup of previous ordinances that no longer are out of date.
Exactly.
Something we've done from the past.
You bet. If you choose to take that route, the waiving of the second and third consideration and the summary, then roll call vote is required.
Can we do that today, or do we gotta wait till the 16th?
You can do that today.
Okay.
You can set that first consideration for the 16th and waive the second and third considerations and that summary.
Okay.
Roll call.
I'd accept the recommendation as stated.
Okay.
All right, and I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion second to do the first consideration of proposed ordinance 54, readopting the existing county code. Waive the second, third consideration, waive the requirements for a summary prior to the first consideration.
You bet.
This takes a roll call
Roll
vote.
call vote, yeah.
So at this time, Jay.
Aye.
Phil.
Aye.
And Bob, I too. Okay. You like that, huh? Sure?
Yep.
Aye, aye.
Aye, aye, aye. Okay, thank you, Sandy.
You bet.
Moving on to item C, County Treasurer. Motion to suspend assessment of year 2011 tax pursuant to section 427.9 on Leon D. Rock. Is she here? There she is.
Mr. D. Rock entered a care facility. They qualified him for a tax suspension through DHS. They have notified us. So this is just really your consideration to approve what DHS has already approved.
Okay.
Motion to suspend the assessment for Mr. DeRock for the year 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion second to suspend the taxes for 2011 for Mr. D. Rock. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Item number D, manure management plan. This is manure management for Caffrey Farms, which is located down in the county line. I've looked it over, as I do all of them, because I like the manure end of things. It doesn't talk back.
Bob, you're an expert.
I
Newer
am.
in these sanitary districts.
Well, I'll tell you what, somebody's
You've
got
got your calling,
Yep.
I'm telling you.
Somebody's got to do it. And I'll make a motion that we accept his plan and send a copy to the dealer.
I'll also second that.
Okay, got a motion second to accept Caffrey Farms manure management plan and send a copy to the DNR. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item E, agreements and contracts. Item F, appointments. Item G, correspondence and communications. Number 1, title, 2012 annual report.
For more than the past year, we've been working on compliance efforts with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which has to do with non-discrimination in the provision of services. This is an effort undertaken by the Iowa Department of Transportation as part of their compliance program to public entities that receive federal assistance. And so they hired some employees to come around to the cities and counties to obtain compliance with that. And as you may recall, we've adopted a number of documents and policies related to Title VI. One of the requirements that we have is to file an annual report with the DOT concerning our compliance efforts. Basically, what it is a list of our accomplishments during the past year, any Title VI complaints we've received in the previous year, which there were none, and then our work plan for the coming year. I have provided you with a copy of this report. I filed it September 26th with the DOT. Interestingly, they do not have a template for the report yet, and so I came up with one myself. My biggest fear is that they'll decide to use that statewide and everyone will hate me statewide, which is possible anyway. So anyway, I'm just requesting a motion that you accept and file this report for public inspection should anyone want to see it.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay, we got a motion and second for the Title VI 2012 annual report that Tom was so elegantly described. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Tom. Item number 2, proclamation of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Does anybody want to speak?
Yes, we do.
I tell you, between the two of you, you should be able to talk for a half hour.
Is that a challenge?
No, it's not a challenge. It's not a challenge.
Well, go ahead, Mary.
I'm Mary Ingham with Crisis Intervention Service, and we first of all want to thank you for, I hope you'll be signing our proclamation in a few minutes. And even if you don't, we want to thank you for our past support of domestic violence in Cerro Gordo County. As you know, we have 2 significant players in the role to end domestic violence employed by the county, both the Sheriff's Office and the County Attorney's Office are agencies that we work with on a daily basis to help protect women, children, and men here in North Central Iowa, and we appreciate their ongoing fight in this effort, as well as their involvement in our community coalition. Also just wanted to use this time to let everyone know that tomorrow we are having our annual Remember My Name event, which will be held at Music Van Square at noon. This is an event where we honor the memory of the women, children, and men that have been murdered as a result of domestic violence in Iowa. Our flyers actually indicate there's been 233 Iowans murdered since 1995. The Attorney General's office sent out an updated list which added 6 new homicides to that list, so the actual correct number would be 239. There's been 6 new homicides since April 1st of 2012. One of those actually in Mason City in July. So again, the event is to honor the memory of Iowans that have lost their lives to domestic violence, but also honor the survivors and the people that are fighting every day to stay safe in North Central Iowa. And then every Wednesday throughout the month, we will be having lunch and learn opportunities, just free educational programs. Most of them are going to be held at Music Van Square with the exception of the 10th. That one's going to be held at the library. But it's a chance for our coalition to hopefully educate the community on domestic violence and get information out to people that need it. So come on out, learn a little something. You'll be a better juror someday if you attend these trainings. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Mary. Sheriff, you got anything you would like to say?
Well, on behalf of the community coalition, that obviously we're hitting all the community governments, the larger governments, supervisors, both Mason City and Clear Lake City Councils do a proclamation just to draw some attention to this serious, well, it's a crime when law enforcement gets involved, but also the seriousness of all the victims, not just the ones that have been murdered, but also those that have been injured and or those that are going through the pain and suffering locally. Even though they don't go to the hospital, it's still the pain and emotional stress on their children and their relationships. So we thank you for your support.
You bet. Anybody else like to say anything?
We will have a light lunch and refreshments tomorrow at our event.
Well, I was thinking it was gonna be right here, right now. Sure.
In Square.
Okay, if that's it, I'll read this proclamation. Bear with me because I'm not a very good reader. Whereas home should be a place of warmth, unconditional love, tranquility, and security, and for most of us, home and family can indeed be counted among our greatest blessings. Tragedy for many community members, these blessings are tarnished by violence and fear. Whereas domestic violence is more than an occasional family dispute. It is serious crime that affects people of all races, ethnics, ages, mental and physical abilities, psycho, whatever, status, religious background, and gender. And whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity during the use of the physical, emotional, sexual, physiological, and economic control or abuse. And whereas 233 adults and children have been killed in the state of Iowa as a result of domestic violence since 1995. And Cerro County annually averages an estimated 25 domestic violence arrests. And whereas children who grew up in violent homes are abused and neglected at a higher rate than the national average. And more than 4 million children in the United States are at risk for witness domestic violence each year. Whereas domestic violence costs the nation over $5 billion annually in medical expenses, law enforcement, and court costs, shelters and foster cares, sick leave, and reduced worker productivity. Whereas only a coordinated community effort will bring an end to the epic of crime and violence, as we as a community must address the problem of domestic violence in our homes and neighborhoods every day of the year. Whereas a coalition of organizations have emerged to directly confront this crisis, law enforcement officials, victim service program, healthcare providers, the faith community, and other concerned citizens are helping in the effort to end domestic violence. We must recognize the passion, dedication of these volunteers and professionals, applaud their efforts, and increase public understanding of the importance of social problem. Now therefore, I, Bob Amison, Chairman of the Cerro County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2012 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and urge all citizens of Cerro County to observe this month by becoming aware of the tragedies of domestic violence, supporting those who are working towards its end, and participating in community efforts. This is the second day of October 2012.
I make a motion to approve and authorize chair's signature.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion and second to authorize the chair to sign this proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Is there anything else that needs to be brought before us this morning?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.